And this political pulse, we are joined by a very special guest, Secretary of the State of South Dakota, Monae Johnson. Secretary, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
Here in your hometown, you're actually from Rapid City.
Yes, I am. I was born in Brookings, but raised in Rapid City. My father was an officer in the Air Force, so Ellsworth Air Force Base was home. Grew up on the west side of Rapid City and was married here, and 3 of my 6 children were born here. So this is home.
You're one of the rarities in this fact that you hold a statewide office, but you are from West River.
Oh yes, oh yes. Well, actually I call myself an all-state girl just because I born East River, lived Rapid City, pretty much my whole life, but I'm in Rapid City now. So I sold my house in Rapid City when I was elected Secretary of State. So I'm an official peer resident now.
But you say you raised your kids here in town?
I did, yes. They actually went to Pinedale School, they went to Rapid City Christian, they went to Stevens. So yeah, they kind of did all that here.
When you're making statewide decisions, what kind of influence do you think Rapid City has on those decisions?
Oh, a deep influence, yeah. There's so much beauty here and there's so much history. That's what I love about South Dakota. Just being part of making history and being part of history. Having, like I said, I have 6 children. 3 of them were born in Rapid City, and I had 1 that was born in Gordon, Nebraska, who I adopted, and then 2 in Eagle Butte. So, yes.
If I'm not mistaken, the hills have had this effect on you. You are an avid hunter, I believe.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I started hunting when I was 12 with my father. Pheasant hunting, which is a wonderful tradition to inspire people to be grounded, rooted in South Dakota, and pheasant hunting is coming up. I have hunted everything up to an elk. So I shot a 6x6 bull elk on opening day, October 1st of 2001. And I call him George, and he came with me to Pierce. So if anyone wants to come see him in the lobby of the Capitol, he's actually more famous than I am. So it's kind of funny. Everybody wants to hear the story. Shot him on opening day, and it's just an amazing thing.
That was here in the Black Hills?
Here in the Black Hills on opening day. Yes.
Yeah, driving through the hills at night, there's quite a few elk. For a while, I was convinced they're not even here. I was like, I've heard they're here, but I don't know if they're here or not. And then I realized when you drive around at night, you start seeing them on the road, especially on the highways out here at night. It's pretty fascinating. It
is, yes. They are out. You need to be careful. You don't want to run into one of those because it'll totally wipe out your car. And all the animals that are out at night, so you need to really be aware.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Getting serious now, what led you to want to run for re-election? And also, what are your key priorities with this next term, should you secure it?
That's a fabulous question. Having 8 years experience in the Secretary of State's office, working for Chris Nelson and Chantel Krebs, and I worked in every division in the office because we have business and general, and we have the elections. So having had the experience in all of the divisions, and then having had 3 years under my belt as Secretary of State, there's so many projects that we've started, and I'd love to finish those. One of the ones that we have started is our voter registration upgrade, and that should be launching a go live this fall. And we just started July 1st on our upgrade of our business platform. So if we're going to be successful in working with businesses, we need the latest technology. So those are 2 projects that I'd love to finish. One of the exciting ones that we've just launched this year is Civics in the 605. So we're doing some recorded episodes of those, just trying to educate the public, which is a wonderful thing that we need to do. So you're an educated voter, and it's actually the fun part of the job. All the rest is more just work, but I appreciate everything that we get to do in there.
So from what I'm hearing, it's that you've started a couple of these initiatives,
yes,
and you feel like you need more time to really see these through and get these working.
Yes, and actually there hasn't been a 2-term Secretary of State since Chris Nelson. We've had 3 one-term, and it's always nice to just finish some of the things that you've started when you're in the office.
Is 4 years, is that a tough amount of time to get things done?
Yes, it is. Yes, it takes a lot to actually implement all of the things that you need to do. Is if you need to bring legislation, and then you need to get the funding, and then you need to implement it. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and I have great staff. It's kind of exciting. In our election division, we have over 50 years experience, and in our business, we have just about 60 years experience.
Secure elections are top of mind for a lot of voters right now. What is your office currently doing right now to ensure that elections are secure?
Yeah, one of the first things that I did when I became Secretary of State was hire a cybersecurity analyst. That's something that had never been done before, but I wanted to make sure that our platforms were safe and that everything that happened in the world, you know, kind of protected South Dakota. And we have implemented different things across the board, and we have great staff and they follow things. So.
On a national level, when you look across the entire United States, are there any election integrity concerns you have as somebody who oversees elections here?
I appreciate the fact that we had great secretaries that were before me and put implementations and different things and safeguards in place. South Dakota is a model for safe and secure elections, and when I go to the National Association of Secretaries of State meeting, a lot of people say we wish we were South Dakota. We've always had a paper ballot. Our machines are not hooked to the internet, and we now have a post-election audit which just proves that the tabulators are doing the job they're supposed to be doing, and that was one of my campaign promises.
I don't know if you remember this, but we met via Zoom. Like
we did.
Yes. I don't. Yeah,
yes.
Briefly. Like you were part of like a press conference. I was there by Zoom because I was here in Rapid City, and this is where Senate Joint Resolution 503.
Yes.
Which you had come in support of. Why was it important for you to support that legislation?
One thing within people's minds, only U.S. citizens should be voting in elections. So I wanted to support the legislators that brought that forward, and just to ensure people that that is what we're doing, and that's what they're cleaning up all across the nation, is only U.S. citizens voting in elections.
We are getting closer to the legislative session, and
Yes.
I think this is when the conversation becomes what bills are coming our way. So now I ask you, do you have any bills or any legislation that you plan to introduce and have the legislature see through this next session?
Yes, we have a few that we're working on, mainly cleanup bills. There's a lot of things in the election section that we need to work on, and I always encourage legislators to come into our office and visit with us, because with my experts in elections, they can help give you some some feedback on whether it's going to be a good piece of legislation or if we think there might be a potential lawsuit, because people need to know that if there's a lawsuit where I am sued as Secretary of State, it does cost the taxpayers, and it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So when you say cleanup bills, are you talking about legislation that's supposed to balance or kind of course correct some of the previous legislation that was passed?
Some of that too, but also if there's something in code that needs to be fixed, that we could bring that in.
Okay.
And I think there's some in LRC and other legislators that are looking at the whole section of the election code.
So when you say cleanup bills, you're just talking about the whole elections process cleanup bills?
Some of that, but mainly if there's one that the wording is incorrect. There's a lot of things where LRC wants to change like a wording all through the whole section. So,
Gotcha.
yes.
Does any of it stick out to you as being the most profound or is going to have the biggest impact?
No, not at this moment, yes.
Okay, so getting to a more serious topic here, recently your office mistakenly disclosed identities of people who seeked public assistance, and this was, I know, through putting out the registrator or the registration information, and part of that was where did the voter register, and if they registered through trying to get a public benefit, that was disclosed. Can you tell us about that? I know you did ultimately come out and admit that there was a mistake made there, but I'd like you to have a chance to explain what happened and what your office is doing to correct that going forward.
I appreciate the question. Yes, House Bill 1062 was a new bill, and that allowed us, or it implemented us, to put out the voter registration lists that we currently sell, or we sold those in the past, and people paid a fee for that. And actually, I wanted to let you know, it wasn't those that were seeking public assistance, because you can drop off a voter registration at a public assistance place. That does not mean that you're seeking it. So when they put that in the source of registration, that is what they were doing, was they just dropping it off. That doesn't mean they were seeking. But yes, an error did occur when we were implementing that weekly registration update, and then a data field was put in there. We immediately removed the file. We contacted those that their names were those that were assessed, those that were given it. I did take full responsibility in a press release, and we have implemented new safeguards, and it will never happen again.
I do want to talk about those safeguards,
yes,
just so that people understand what those are. So what safeguards have been implemented on this?
Well, actually, it's the data entry, the person that was in charge of that. So we make sure that what we had goes out, and it's exactly the same list that what we had sold. So there was an error that was in place, and we fixed that.
Redistricting efforts, this is something that
Oh,
we're
yes.
hearing a lot about right now. It's my home state, California, making the news on this, as well as Texas. What do you make of both of these efforts? And as Secretary of State, do you differ between the two of them?
Actually, as a Secretary of State, I don't participate in that. I don't lead that. That's the legislators that do the redistricting. And I feel just like everyone else that everyone should have free representation. It shouldn't be a partisan advantage. So I know they need to do it every 10 years. There's redistricting, and South Dakota does it well.
Okay, so we kind of started with this, but I want to go back to just more about you and your personal life. What do you think people don't know about you?
Oh, mother of 6, 3 birthed and then 3 adopted, and it's an amazing experience. Trying to do things that I'm passionate about, and I really love politics, and I really love serving the citizens of South Dakota. The Office of Secretary of State is just an incredible place to be. It is extremely busy all the time, and we want to have great customer service, and we want to help people. If they want to start a business in South Dakota, it's a great place to do it, and we want to help you do that. We want to help you vote, and we want to help educate voters. Like, I'm really excited to get out this month for National Voter Registration Day, which is September 16th, and then actual Constitution Day, September 17th. So we're doing a school-wide tour.
Okay, business side. I know your campaign website, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong here, because now I'm going off my memory, which is this is always a stunt. But I believe you said that you want to make things a little bit more efficient for businesses that want to get started here on your campaign website. Can you share with us any of what that might look like?
Yes, in our new platform, it's going to be so it's more accessor friendly, and where you can have a login and go in, and then the one we have now, you can't finish it, like start it and then finish it. We want to be able to do that with passwords and things like that, and we want to be able to access all of the documents. We have many years of microfilm and microfiche that we're hoping to get scanned in so that you can have the old documents. Like, we have some cemeteries that are, over 100 years old, and people, if they wanted to have the access of those articles of incorporation or things like that. So we're going to be doing a lot of data scanning and things like that. So
do you get any is some of this coming from feedback that you're getting from small businesses? Any of these efficiencies, maybe some that haven't even been mentioned yet, but like any of these efficiencies you're trying to work on, have some of these formed from feedback you've gotten?
We have just some, yes, but we just know to be able to be competitive with other states when they register their business, you have to be fast and you have to be efficient. So technology changes so fast, and our platform is over 10 years old, so we knew it was needed.
So when we talk about attracting businesses to a state, this is probably something that most people don't think about, is how efficient is the Secretary of State's office, from what you're saying.
And we actually try to, when there's documents that come in, our goal is to process those the same day. And if you try to reach out to other Secretaries of State offices, they might be 1 to 2 months behind, just their filing. So we really are happy that our staff gets the processes done and helps the business move on.
Do you think that in any case a state has lost a potential business coming to the state because of a lag in Secretary of State paperwork? Not here, but just in general, do you think this is a problem that's occurred?
There's some people, they want to register their business right then. So if there's any issues with the actual logging in or paying for the fee or things like that, then they'll go on to another state.
Okay. Anything else you want to end on before we wrap up this interview?
I just appreciate the time to come here. It's a beautiful time, like I said, getting ready for hunting season and getting out there and enjoying South Dakota.
Are you going to be doing some hunting this season?
I am. Yes, I am. I actually practiced with my shotgun last weekend, throwing the clay pigeons and obliterating them. I used to be a state trap shooting champion too. I just haven't had time to do it in the past couple decades.
I got into shooting clays a few years ago. My dad and my brother are pretty big duck hunters.
It's wonderful.
They began through shooting clays, and we were shooting clays, and for the longest time I couldn't hit them because I was closing the wrong eye.
Okay.
Nobody had ever taught me about being right or left eye dominant.
Yes.
And so I, for years, was like, how did people hit these things? I mean, I thought anybody who could hit one was like, had a magical power or something.
Yeah.
And so I started closing, the correct eye, and started having some luck with it. So I think in the next few years, I'd like to maybe get into some bird hunting.
Good for you. That's wonderful. And I know the South Dakota Youth Hunting Program in Rapid City that Jim Scull coordinates. 2 of my children went through that program, and it's fabulous. So
good way to learn.
Yes, through Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Yes.
Okay. Well, Secretary of the State of South Dakota, Monae Johnson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.